Welcome to episode 75 of the Lovoni and Sarah podcast. Each week we discuss approaches to weight loss and to well-being as we work in improving our own health and wellness. We share our stories about what we've learned through experience and research in the hopes we encourage others wanting to improve their health too. Thank you for joining us. I am Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah. What's the one change to make right now if you want to feel happier, more fulfilled, confident, and successful? It's simple, obvious, but so often forgotten. Get back to basics. Get the fundamentals right. Focusing on the basics can be hugely impactful in a positive way in your life, especially when it comes to losing weight and getting healthier. Today, we're talking about what the basics are and how mastering these can be a game changer. How did we do last week, though, with our challenge, which was the Fearless episode? So how did you get on with your Fearless challenge, Lovoni?
So remind me again, it was supposed to be we were going to take something that we had been afraid of,
Yeah.
doing, or
Just write it down or
just,
face something that you feel fear over and face it anyway.
well, I was going to do a YouTube video to put onto my YouTube channel, which
Right.
currently only has Mango and my dog on there. Knowing that I'm actually going to launch it in autumn, but I thought, I'll do that
Hmm.
because, that's something I'm a bit nervous about. Well, that didn't happen, but because of my website, I
Hmm.
have had the same website, different name, but same website for 7.5 years, 560 something posts. Well, now I have a new website
A
starting from
brand new
scratch,
one.
brand new website. Sarah had a little sneak peek at it today,
Uh-huh.
but
Smashing.
yeah, it was use the old website that needed a lot of work done to it, or lose it because something went wrong and I couldn't put the new website onto where the old one was. Thank you so much, GoDaddy, for that.
Painful. Hmm.
Yeah. So basically lost it. So I had to make that decision. So while I hadn't planned on that being my fearless challenge, I don't know. I think that definitely could be called that because
Absolutely.
it was a big decision when I decided, okay, it's time to pull the plug
Just to
because I want
jump.
to make this happen. Just had to jump. I felt like I'd been gut punched at the same time, excited. Um, yeah, but it ended up being everything new domain name, new host, new website.
Wow.
So yeah, what about you? How was yours? Fearless challenge.
Yeah, I think it was good. I had a really good think what keeps coming up for me, that what is this fear, that, what is the thing that keeps repeating
Holding you back.
itself? Yeah, and for me, it's a fear of making the wrong decision.
Mm.
So I think every
Oh.
time I get to almost on the cusp of making an action or a decision, I think, but what if it's the wrong one? Or
Mm.
what if I go, learn, what if I regret it? Or
What if,
what
what
if I'm
if,
cocking
yeah.
up my whole life by making that decision? And then I sort of thought, okay, how many times have I done something that's made such an impact on my future that I've regretted it? I mean, in reality, how many times has that happened? Very, very rarely. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if they are, I can actually look back on them now and think, but they were just part of my story anyway. So,
Yeah.
how much was it? So that's my learning that I've come across and thought, okay, so now I'm going to take all that on board and I'm going to put it into action. And the thing that now keeps coming up for me the most, and other external influences. So I've sort of, someone's passed away recently that's, I've known for a long time, and she wasn't old. And not that that makes it easier to overcome, but
Mm-hmm.
you just sort of think, really, it's even more shocking, isn't it, when you think, gosh, really? So that's what keeps coming up for me. It's like, don't wait, that whole thing that we
Yeah.
kept talking about. So for me, that thing that I'm pushing fear aside and just doing it is because don't wait. And actually, all these things, like when we spoke to Laura, like, what's the worst that can happen? She talked about humiliation. For me, my biggest fear is, I've now worked on this week, is realizing I'm scared of the wrong decision. If I make a
Mm-hmm.
wrong decision, that's what's holding me back.
I think a lot of people are with
Yeah, I
that.
think it's quite
Yeah.
natural, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
or
it's such a
second guessing
shame
themselves when
because
they do.
you stop
You miss
doing
out.
so many things because you think,
Mm-hmm.
what if I regret it? Or you think, oh, come on, unless it's
Yeah.
something really, really drastic. I promise I'm not going to get a spider's web tattooed across my face. I
Okay,
promise.
that's good.
Yeah, I
Yes,
promise.
your pretty face. No, don't do that.
And I feel
But
excited now. I'm excited
yes,
because I
that's
just
good.
think, you know what? If I overcome this feeling of like, oh, but what if it's wrong, and turn it into it's going to be okay and stop waiting, that's an exciting thing to think. So
Mm-hmm. And
that's
not if, when, Sarah, when, not if, when. Yes.
it starts.
Well,
Dun,
I'm
dun, dun.
excited to see what happens.
I know.
So yeah, that is exciting, and I think it gives you. Uh, I feel like a little bit like this with the new website. It gives you just a push.
It's
You know,
liberating, isn't it? Don't you
it
think?
is liberating. Yes, it's also a lot of work, and I'm
Of
sure what you're
course.
saying is going to be a lot of work. But you know what? Nothing that was worthwhile usually didn't involve a lot of.
And
So,
I know we digress slightly, but I suppose it's part of what we're talking about today too, is the fact that we've talked about this before, don't make things bigger in your head.
oh,
Sometimes
right.
just doing it is half of the thing anyway. You just spend so long thinking about, well, if it's wrong and what if and this,
Yes,
that, the other. Just you've built it into something massive. Normally, just making an action, oh, that was easier than I
wasn't
thought
that
it'd be.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
know that is so true. Yeah. And it does sort of tie into what we're talking about today. I just wanted put to add why this resonated with me
mhm,
so much, today's topic. And I heard a professor talking about one of his students turning up late to class. He was 15 minutes late, and he came in, the professor told him that he couldn't join in the class. And so some rhetoric was written about the professor, and he said, I wish people would just learn the basics, just the simple things. He said, do the simple things and life becomes easier. And so that got me thinking, this is about a week, 10 days ago, right? And it really got me thinking. And I was thinking about losing weight and getting healthier,
mhm,
and how we complicate that so much, partly because there is so much information out there.
mhm.
And so I thought, okay, what are the basics to improve one's health? What are the basics?
Yeah.
Sleep, water, whole foods, exercise. They're
Mhm,
pretty much the basics.
mhm,
So, what if I just focused on those things? Nothing too outlandish, 7 to 8 hours sleep, 2 liters of water a day, nothing crazy. If I drink more than that, awesome. Which is just 2 jugs, just do that. Um, whole foods, okay, yeah,
mhm,
vegetables, good proteins, fruits and nuts and seeds. That's pretty much it.
mhm,
Non-processed, non-processed stuff.
mm,
And then exercise, just 30 minutes every morning. Get up, get changed, do my
mhm,
exercises. Non-negotiable. They are 4 non-negotiable things that I
mhm.
will do every day and keep it as simple as possible. I think that's pretty simple. What I was trying to do is, yes, I do the 30 minutes exercise, but then I'd be like, well, really, I'm not doing much. I'm not doing enough. I need to do more, blah, blah. And then you get this conversation in your head, and you're just like, meh, and it becomes overwhelming, and then you just
Mhm,
don't do any of it.
mhm.
So I've just taken it back to the basics. And I was telling Sarah, I've now lost just over 5 pounds, 5.4. I guess 0.4 doesn't matter, but so
Well,
5 pounds. And that's just
in
been
a
in
week,
a week. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
absolutely
And
incredible.
okay, maybe a lot of it's water weight, but it's got to come
It
off,
doesn't matter.
right?
It's still got it. It's still you were still carrying it before, and
Right.
you don't want to carry
Exactly.
it around because
Yeah.
that's hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. Because just doing that, doing the basics, because you think about it, you get up, you make your bed. Hopefully you do. It's a good
Hmm.
start to the day. You get dressed, for me, I always have a shower. Um,
Brush your
just
teeth.
clean your teeth,
Hmm.
do your hair, brush your hair. They're the basic things that you do in the morning.
Without even
So the
thinking.
same, without even thinking about it, they've just become part of your routine. So if you can focus on the basics for health and wellness that I just said, and do those every day, just do them every day. Don't think about it. Oh,
that's what I've written down, and I've written down
it frees up headspace.
They're basics, but you're not striving for perfection. So also
No.
within that list, so I've just gone through the list that you've just described. So where you say get good sleep, 7 to 8 hours, I've just put get a good sleep. So that might be a little bit different for everybody. Some people, they might need a few hours more. Some people are okay with a bit less, but whatever that means for you, get a good sleep. And we've done a whole episode on sleep, but that probably means just get yourself prepped nicely for bed, get yourself ready for bed. We've done that whole episode on how to do better that. Eat mostly clean food. Again, don't need to complicate it, so that you've given a really good example of a list of things. Then if occasionally you have something which is not as clean as you'd like it to be, make it occasionally, but most of the time you're eating clean food. So this is the thing of taking that pressure away, but getting your basics part of your staple. Because if you just calm it down and then make it easy, then all of a sudden that means you're going to do it more routinely, like you just said. Drink plenty of water. I think people can get really obsessed, can't they? Of like, well, I agree. I measure mine out so I can see what I've had, but don't get so obsessed about the actual measurements on the jug. Just drink plenty of water. If that's your starting point, have a few more glasses than you normally would until you get to the point, which is the guideline that you've just gone through. As well as the dedicated exercise, just move a lot more during the day. So just think about it. Take the stairs. We've all heard it a billion times, haven't we? Take the stairs instead of the lift.
Further away.
Yeah, exactly. Get up, and if you're at the desk, get up every 30 minutes and just go for a walk round. And it may be at lunchtime, go for a walk outside. And I think that's the other thing, is have your dedicated exercise, because that 30 minutes a day does help as well. And be outdoors as much as possible, as I've added to my list.
Oh, that was another thing. Sunlight and outdoors.
Yeah. Be
just
outdoors
for 10, 15 minutes a day. If you can be out more, great.
But just as much
get
as you
out
can.
there. Definitely. Yeah.
And for me, all of those things added up to caring for yourself and prioritizing yourself and your health. Because if you get all those fundamentals into your day, everything else then can be on top of what's left, and then go, okay, now I'll slot all the other things into the day that I need to do.
Right.
If you leave all of these things, which should be your core, and don't do them as a priority, then you're trying to slot them into everything else, and the likelihood is they'll start to not happen. So I think that's the mind shift. Like you said, the professor said, get your fundamentals, get your basics sorted.
The simple things, just get them sorted. And, focusing on those eliminates stress. That's how I felt. I felt it just eliminated stress. I'd get up. It didn't mean that I was like, yay, I'm going to exercise. It was like some days easier than others, tired or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's just, that's what I'm doing. That's just part of it. It's just 30 minutes. It's not
sort of all
an hour and a half.
Exactly. It all feeds into this simple life that we keep talking about, simple living, slow living.
That's what I kept thinking about. Yeah, just simple, keeping it simple.
Yeah.
So I found it eliminates stress, overwhelm, and also is helping my discipline. I think that it is just by stripping away all the noise, because we all do it. You see somebody that's lost weight and they're like, oh, I've been on keto, or I've been on, whatever, Atkins, or, and you think, okay, well, maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Or, maybe I just need to do this, or maybe I just need to do that. Oh, this way, it's just so simple. And the simpler you can have it, the easier.
It's looking after yourself, though, isn't it? You just think, isn't it odd that what we're really talking about is just looking after yourself?
Right.
And we would do it with our pets. We would do it with our children, our car, our anything that needs maintenance or caring for. We do it for all of those things.
Right.
And so it should be as automatic as, we wouldn't dream of not giving our pet fresh water and enough to drink, feeding them twice a day or whatever they need, having a walk, all of that. Our children, exactly the same. They're fed, watered, careful. We make sure that they exercise, they eat good food as much as possible. You should be putting yourself in that list of things right up there as an equal way, and doing it
And
exactly the
making
same.
promise to yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was thinking of things about you look at the armed forces. When you go into, you join up for the Army, Navy, Marines, whatever, you have to learn the basics first.
Yeah.
That's what it's basic training. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's called that. So, it's like a recipe. When I went to culinary school, you learn the basics first, how to make a stock, how to make a base sauce, all these, just basic things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you master those, then you learn to build on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so many people make this so much complicated. Me,
Yeah.
I was. Then it has to be. If you just strip away all the noise, it's like you know, I mean, you must have had, you went to school and learned, I mean, obviously you can draw,
Mm-hmm.
but you must have learned fundamentals of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
and at the
Yeah.
beginning, no one was going to say, want to go and repaint the Sistine
Yeah, you
Chapel,
talk about,
you
they
know?
teach you, they break it down into all the sections, a bit like you've done with, the sleep, the food, the exercise. You talk about
Right.
perspective, you talk about color, even like when we're all very young, we all talked about color mixing
Mm-hmm.
that makes new colors. And it's just building those layers to get you to a point where you start to feel that you're ready to take on the next step. And I thought that actually, I think that having all of your basic stuff organized, done, part of your routine, it leaves you more space to do the enjoyable stuff, doesn't it? So where we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about becoming more expert in things, if you've got your fundamentals sorted, then all of a sudden you're in your day, you're like, oh, okay, now I've got all this extra time available. What am I going to do with it? You've got your core stuff already sorted. Oops, sorry, banging my microphone. But rather than it being the case of then trying to slot it in, like I said before, I think if you get those done, I do believe this slow living, this simple life, it will just open up so
Mm-hmm.
much more time for us all, because we're not chasing our tails trying to work out what we've got to do.
Well, and I found that I felt more confident this week in that I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this because I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier,
Mm-hmm.
doing this and just, I mean, in 4 or 5 points, I nailed what it is that I need to do
Mm-hmm.
in the simplest,
Have
stripped it
you
all back.
within your food, are you counting calories as well, or are you not, are
Nope.
you just eating clean food? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just focusing on, I'm not having giant portions,
No.
and if I don't feel like eating, I won't. But I'm just have focused on those things that I said. Good protein, which means, for me, it's farm eggs, um, grass-fed beef. Okay, it's more expensive. You just don't have so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Happy chickens. Um, fish and seafood that's hopefully been, I try and choose that's been sustainably fished.
Sourced. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then, and nuts and seeds for me were fruits and veggies. Yeah. And some nuts and seeds, which is
Mm-hmm.
like, that's just a little handful. And, that's easy. And it was easy. I just found it easy. Even in the chaotic nightmare
Yeah,
of the
week that you've
last
had.
week that
Yeah.
I've had, where with stress, you just want to normally just feed it
Yeah,
and
comfort yourself.
something
Mm-hmm.
comfort myself. That was the one thing that stopped me from doing it, was like, does it fit into my basics?
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. And I just focused on those. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not doing it just for a week,
Yeah.
but I'm going to keep
Well,
doing
what
it
you
because
focus on becomes powerful, doesn't it? And we've talked about this
yes,
before. It's like, don't focus on the things that you don't want to do, focus on the things that you do want to do. And so what you've done is
right.
you've adjusted your mindset and focused it on the way that you want to control and routine and organize your day. So by focusing on those things, it's made it easier for you to then bat away the behaviors that you don't want to be doing, like turning
Hmm.
to comfort food when you're at times of stress, etc.
And I haven't done the okay, you can't eat this, that, I haven't done that.
No.
Or I haven't done the, or this person said I should really be lifting for 45 minutes, not 20 or,
Yeah.
15. It's just like, no, I don't care what anybody's doing, saying. If I'm just doing this. This is me
Mm-hmm.
doing this. This is what I can do today. And I think that if people can do that, they will find they can get a lot further
Well,
with
getting your
even just their
basics
day-to-day life.
organized, completed your, those things, it gives a sense of accomplishment as well, doesn't it? And if
Hmm.
you get that sense of accomplishment, I think it then gives you a boost, a bit of a bolster for your day, and then
Yeah,
everything else then will find that you'll
helps your
probably
confidence.
follows and falls in. Yeah.
And it removes a whole level of stress, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I've been stressed this week because
Yeah.
just technology, but not as much as I normally would have felt it. And I think because because of what I'm doing. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm surprised how quickly it can work,
Mm-hmm.
but it can. You
Yeah.
just have to decide what those things are. And I think, however you look at them, it needs to be water, food, exercise, sunlight, and sleep.
Yeah.
But like you said, sleep for some people might be more, but
It's
they're
whatever's
the
good for
things
a
that
good sleep for
is
you. Yeah.
working for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are 5 things, and if you can do that, just do that,
I think if
then
you can
you'll
get your
find things
basics in
fall into
order, then you're kind
place.
of 90% or 95% even of the way there in your day, aren't you? A bit like the professor said,
Right.
get your stuff sorted and then you can turn up on
Oh,
time to your lesson, or you can not be late when you're trying to drive. And then inevitably every red light turns red, every traffic light turns red. And
right.
isn't it the way whenever you're rushed, everything seems to be in your way to actually get to where
Against
you're
you.
going? Exactly.
And you stress then, and
Yeah.
then you're stressed.
But yeah, if you can
Another
get
thing
everything sorted.
right, and leave yourself time or whatever. But
Mm.
yeah. Um, but I was also thinking, I keep thinking the same thing. And I don't know exactly how it goes. There's a narrative that's along the lines of if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results,
Mm-hmm.
which, if you're not happy with them, you need to change what you're doing. And see, that's been me. I have the same conversation with myself every day. This is prior to doing this. Same conversation, doing the same thing. I'm like, oh, for the love of God, woman, you just need to change the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
change what you're doing. You do that because that is something that I think if people just keep doing the same thing and they're still not getting the results they want, you have to mix it up. And by just stripping it all away and going back to the basics, I think is the way to do it.
But it's a
I
bit like we
think.
said before, there's a difference between a wishing for something and actually doing something about it. Sometimes
Right.
we can all wish, we all do it.
Mm-hmm.
We all wish, oh, I wish it was this way, or we look at someone else and think. And I think, as you were saying, with the number of diets and things that are out there we've talked about, it's again, we've talked about it before, but it's because we want a quick result. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
getting back to basics isn't about getting a quick result. It's about just getting the fundamentals of your life. Get your shit in order, for God's sake. Get your
Right.
shit in order, and then everything else can get in order. But it probably won't mean that you're done overnight, and
No.
all of these promises of do this and you'll suddenly lose this many pounds, or do this and it will all be sorted for you. It's just not going to work, in honesty. And it's marketing, isn't it? It's marketing
Right.
that taps into all of our wishes that we could get something done quickly and don't have to go
Mm-hmm.
through the effort or the
Oh
pain of
God.
getting it sorted out.
Yeah.
But
And people want that. They want quick fixes. But these things, those 4, 5 fundamentals, they're non-negotiable. And you
mhm,
have to tell that to yourself.
mhm.
These are the 5 non-negotiable things. Because you think without sleep, without proper sleep, oh God, you feel crap. You
Well, you're
do.
hungry, you turn to sugary
You're
foods.
hungry, you're
Mhm.
grumpy, you just feel blah.
And you
So
don't eat
that
well.
you don't eat well. That needs to be tippy top of the list. And I'm not going to tell you people out there what to do. You know what to do. One of the biggest things for me to get a better sleep is that I try not to eat 3 hours before going to bed.
Mhm.
And I limit my sugars, my carbohydrates, because that's just what I have noticed.
Works
So
for
it's
you.
also about listening to your body. Yeah, if I have too much carbohydrates before bed and I eat too late, I have a crap sleep. Drinking does the same thing. So, but they need to be non-negotiable. And I keep saying, they're just basic things like cleaning your teeth. It's just what they are. And, and I've made things easier for myself, as in I've got rid of some stuff out of the cupboard. Not that, I don't have crap food here, but I do love peanut butter on a cracker with butter and honey. Well, I just, it's like an alcoholic in a liquor store.
Yeah.
I just got rid of it. So my husband had bought me chocolate, chucked those out the other day. So just, setting things up too, but God, don't obsess about it. That's what I didn't. That was one thing that I just was like, oh, basics. Okay, what are they? Good, done, doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't obsess. I didn't have to write it down 96 times, make 5,000 plans, go over and over it again. I was just like, that's it. And suddenly I had room in my brain to think about other things, which was good because I've needed it.
Yeah.
And just felt lighter, Quite
literally.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Yeah. So, everyone's path will be different to it, but just get the basics right. Basics to brilliant.
That's a good one. Yeah, great.
Yeah, basics to brilliant. Yeah, but let's just face it. Let's deal with the basics before the brilliant.
Yeah,
you have to crawl before you can walk.
Absolutely.
And I think that's everybody's problem.
I think that when you even watch at people, the routines that they're doing at the gym and the weight that they're lifting, you just look and think, feels like a million miles away. But it doesn't have to. You don't have to be doing that right now. Like you say, if you within that, you can break down every element of that and then turn that into whatever basics is for you. Exactly. So, I think on every level it works. Whatever you're approaching, whatever you're trying to deal with, just get back to those fundamentals first. Get those licked, get that sorted, and then you can then start to think about enhancing what you're doing on everything that you touch in life. Actually,
I look forward to when we do the simplifying your life episode. We need to make that coming up soon. Hey, we can, because I've been working at that too, and this is all part of it. This fits perfectly in with all of that.
Yeah,
with my purging, declutter, clearing shit out.
Yeah,
it just fits in with that. So yeah. Okay, you're going to set us a challenge.
Yeah, so I think building on all of that then, so it's about that really. It's kind of simplifying what we're doing, remove what is not serving you, working towards these basics, like you said, getting rid of the foods that are not working. It gives you the space to pay attention to your foundations, to your basics. So once you've got rid of those things on the path, but fundamentally write down what basics mean for you, and then give that your attention this week. Just give it a week of your attention. And like you said, what a transformation you found within that week.
Yeah.
And just every time you have doubt or a question, just go back to that statement. Is it fitting within the basics of what I need to do to look after myself properly? And if it doesn't, I'm not doing it.
And if you're scrolling like so many of us do, and someone's faffing on about how you need to do this and do that, just scroll on by.
You've got your own thing going on,
right? In this though, I have to say, if there are people, because excuses, that's a big thing. Everybody has excuses. And one of them is, I don't have time to exercise, which I call bullshit on. Get up earlier then, or just set your alarm for half an hour earlier. Just do that. Simple. It's simple. We make it complicated. It is really, it is simple, but because, like you said, we want quick fixes, we just make this so complicated. And
it's easy to find an excuse of saying you need
to,
no, you don't have to have anything dedicated. You don't have to go to a dedicated gym to do it. You don't have to have this. I mean, some people it works, but a set time. If you suddenly find you've got half an hour and you can do it, go do it now then. So I think that's the other thing as well, is just make it work for you.
Yeah, some people it might be great lunchtime. They get out and go for a walk if they've been sitting at their desk all day. For me, I have to do it in the morning. Oh God, because it frees up that space in my head. I know I've done it, don't have to think about it. It's the same with just planning my meals, whether it be for the week or for the day. What I've been doing is just thinking the night before, okay, I'm going to have this for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And, you know, it might change a little bit throughout the day, but I don't have to think about it because it's, you know, it's done.
Planned.
When we get off here, I'm going to go make myself an omelette.
Oh my gosh, snap.
Oh, so are you?
So am I.
Oh God, it scares me when I told you. It's worrying when I have the same thoughts as an Aries.
I know. You did send that on a text message this week.
The second time in 24 or 48 hours.
You said exactly that to me. I went, oh, the same. You were like, uh-oh, I'm worried.
I'm worried. Yes. Oh, I only say that because I'm married to him, but yeah. Oh, hey, you know what we haven't done in ages? I was thinking about, we haven't talked about what we were cooking. Have you been cooking anything yummy?
Have I been? We've been having a lot of salads because actually, miraculously, it's been quite warm here in the UK. So I've been making some really nice pittas stuffed with salad, and I did for the boys. They had chicken, like a teriyaki. No, it wasn't that at all. They had a spiced chicken, in the top with the salad in a pitta. We've probably those sorts of things. I haven't really been pushing out on a recipe type meal for the last week or so. We've just been having fresh stuff and pulling things from the garden, which has been exciting. I've been roasting beetroot. Oh my God. Roasting beetroot and then adding that to the salad. So that's been really lovely.
That's good. I do it in some red wine vinegar, basil, seeded mustard, whole grain, whatever you want to call it, garlic, and a little olive oil. I just slice it up. So it's sort of as a quick pickle type thing, but with the basil, oh, it's delicious. Last night I did that because we have so many veggies in our garden, and I made 2 trays. I just had 2 pieces of chicken, but I had 2 trays of veggies that I chopped up. Carrots, eggplant. These are all from our garden. Peppers, zucchini. But there was some potatoes there, but they weren't sadly from our garden next year. Anyway, garlic, chucked it all in, roasted it, and olive oil, you know, some rosemary from the garden. And God, it was so yummy. So I'm going to make a frittata tonight for dinner with that, maybe, or just make that and send it to work with my husband tomorrow. But today for lunch, I'm quite excited. I'm going to make a shrimp salad with just, you know, nice different lettuce. And I'm going to do an egg and avocado. I saw this thing done where you whiz up soft cooked eggs with avocado. I'm going to add a bit of vinegar or lemon or something like that to make the dressing. Be interesting. Yeah, it goes really creamy. So I'm going to have that with it. Yeah,
sounds
some
good.
prawns and lettuce and probably cucumber and onion and stuff like that from the garden. So yeah,
delish.
I know.
Well, now I'm starving
this time of year. I am. My stomach
now I am
rumbled
officially starving.
Yeah. Next week we are going to be talking about stress. What can we all do to have less stress in our lives?
That would be nice.
Yeah, right. How to deal with stress, what stress can do to your body, like in a negative way, and how it can interfere with your weight loss goals. We talk about some basic ideas to make stress less impactful. While we can't eliminate stress completely, what can we do to reduce it? Thank you for joining us today. If you head to lovoniandsarah.com, you'll find posts for all past episodes and links for where you can listen to us. We're on YouTube now, so please follow us, subscribe, and then head over to Instagram. Do the same, all right? Thank you for your continued support. Until next week, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.